the federal intrusion. The 10th Amendment states, and let me be absolutely clear, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Public safety and law enforcement are unequivocally reserved to the states. When the federal government attempts to supersede the governor's authority, it is a flagrant violation of this bedrock principle of federalism. The people of Georgia should be outraged and deeply disappointed that our governor, Governor Kemp, is not exercising his commander-in-chief responsibilities according to his oath he took for this office. His primary responsibility is to the citizens of this state, not to the political agenda of a federal government such as Project 2025. Governor Kemp has the constitutional power to refuse this federal request. It started off with 75, now it's 300 brave men and women going to deploy. Because he has failed to do so, he is betraying his oath and the trust placed in him by the people that he was elected to serve. Let's be absolutely clear about the pretext for the use of the National Guard deployments. This justification for such a drastic measure is often an unproven, manufactured crisis, fictional, deceptive, if you will. We are told that our cities are out of control, that crime is rampant. However, let us examine the facts, specifically in our state's capital, as Atlanta shares a similar profile to Los Angeles, Chicago, Baltimore. All are large cities with a black mayor. Let me be clear, Atlanta is not a city on the brink of collapse. In fact, the crime rates are moving in the right direction. According to data from City of Atlanta and other sources, violent crime in Atlanta has significantly gone down in recent years. Point number one, violent crime overall was down for the third straight year in 2024, hitting a new historic low since 2009. Homicides in Atlanta have gone down, substantially declined. One report says 25% decrease in homicide in 2024, with another stating mid-year of this year, 30% drop compared to previous year. Property crime, also a significant reduction. One report states that the property crime down in Atlanta is 13% this year thus far. Another report states the property crime is down prior to pre-pandemic levels. The trending is going in the right direction with right leadership. Again, let me be clear to the folks in the White House. Atlanta is not a city, and Georgia is not a state that requires military occupation. Our local law enforcement is more than capable of providing public safety. They are trained for that. National Guard are not trained for that. The current trends continue to improve year over year. To use the National Guard in this context is to manufacture a problem where one does not exist, and it escalates a situation that already improving. The current misuse of the National Guard across the United States is a dangerous path we are on. It is an attack on our constitutional structure, a disregard for the sacrifices of our brave men and women in uniform, a failure of leadership at the highest level at the federal and state government. As a candidate for governor, the people of Georgia deserves better. We deserve a governor who will stand up and fight for the sovereignty of our state and the safety of our citizens, not one who will apply or simply acquiesce to the federal overreach. We must demand that our elected leaders honor their oaths and protect the constitutional boundaries that have kept our nation free. And with that, we open up to questions.
Whenever the National Guard or any military force is set on American soil, it's a pseudo act of war. And we are not at war times. So not only do I believe it's unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's a slap in the very face of American sovereignty, in which our founding fathers set out to preserve many years ago, both before me and your ancestors probably stepped foot in this very land. And it's our solemn swear as constitutional officer of the state of Georgia to defend that. So before they even leave the grounds of Georgia, bring the troops home, let them stay here with their families where they can stay safe, and let's continue to make Georgia, or once it was the #1 place to do business, but let's continue to make Georgia and the United States the #1 place to live.
And I will add, I mean, right now, they forward deploy these National Guards in Washington, D.C. What are they doing? They're picking up trash. They're mowing lawn. That is not mission critical. That is not part of the mission for National Guard. When we deploy the brave men and women, it is not for beautification of landscaping. So it is an abuse of power. It is unlawful for them to do what they're doing based on the results that we're seeing our National Guard, our brave men and women are actually doing. I can't read Governor Kemp's mind, but what I will say is this. As I stated in my prepared notes, he is in violation of the 10th Amendment. And the only reason why he is currying favor with this current administration is strictly political. He knows that this goes against the mission of the National Guard. He knows this goes against the scope and scale. I mean, it's going to cost an average of $1.1 million a day. And so here we are, where Governor Kemp already said to all the state agencies, we're going to freeze your money, but yet you're going to deploy National Guard. Who's going to pay that bill? Us, taxpayers. And so he is currying favor with this White House, and unfortunately, it is an abandonment to what he should be doing, and that is being a commander-in-chief for Georgia. So Governor Kemp cannot predict what's going to happen in Georgia. We're in a hurricane season, for example. And so if we have a devastating hurricane to come through and hit the rural parts of Georgia, as it has been in the last few years, we need the National Guard to be here already, being ready to be deployed if need be. Those 300 men and women that he already turned over to the federal government, he has no control over their operations. Once he turned it over to President Trump, until President Trump released those 300, he can't get them back. And so again, that's the reason why I'm saying the scope and scale of operation, he's not taking into consideration of the needs of Georgia, especially while we're still, and as an example, we're still in hurricane season. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you very much.